Hey folks, go away. You've heard the term war on Christmas. It's a term that's used to describe how there are people out there in our communities who are trying to take Christmas away from us, trying to ruin it. They're trying to take away that beautiful way we celebrate this amazing season. At first I thought I would talk and say, there is no war on Christmas. And for what it's worth, in that context, there is no war on Christmas. There is nobody out there who is trying to ruin your Rockwellian understanding of what Christmas is supposed to look like. That person doesn't exist, but neither does that Rockwellian understanding of the perfect Christmas. Christmas is celebrated today much differently than it was when I was a kid. I'm not going to say the number of years, but it was celebrated much differently than it was 100 years ago, or 200 years ago, or 500 years ago. It's celebrated much different than it was when the first Christians came along, because they didn't celebrate Christmas at all, but neither here nor there. There is, from that context, in the sense that there is somebody out there who is trying to steal, trying to ruin Christmas for us, that war on Christmas doesn't exist. And again, Dr. Seuss did that great book, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, where he literally explains that all the things that we do to celebrate this season ultimately have nothing to do with the meaning of this season. And even though those things are taken away from us, the meaning remains. The purpose of the season remains. Even though everything that we love and appreciate about Christmas, all the things that we enjoy, all the things that we indulge in, all the things that we are in awe and all the things that we wonder at, even though those things can be ripped from us, the purpose of the season doesn't change. Christmas remains. Because the purpose of Christmas is greater than all of the trimmings we have attached to the season. And then I thought, but wait a second, there may actually be a war on Christmas. Is somebody trying to destroy Christmas? Again, not the trappings, but the meaning. What is it in our world that is trying to destroy the meaning of Christmas? Is there a force trying to destroy the definition, the value, the spirit of Christmas? Well, if there is, I would argue that it is those who are trying to convince us to attach more importance to these kinds of things than what these things deserve. Trying to convince us to attach value to religious symbols or customs or favorite songs or memories of the way things once were, or the desire to return to those moments of our youth that we have somehow magically romanticized in our brain, those things that we desperately want to give our kids. If there's a war on Christmas, if there is something trying to destroy the true value, the true meaning of Christmas, it would be those who are trying to convince us that the trappings mean more than they actually do. Those who are trying to convince us that Christmas is measured by the number of gifts that are found under the tree. Those who are trying to convince us that the poor and the vulnerable, those people who are seeking our assistance and the assistance of our countries, the assistance, those who are seeking to engage and enjoy the ways our cultures live, the ways our societies function, the abundance of the world, the corner of the world that we live in. If there's an enemy of Christmas, it is those who are trying to convince us that those people don't have value, that those people are trying to steal from us, that those people are the ones we actually need to worry about. If there's an enemy of Christmas, somebody who's trying to destroy Christmas, it would be those who are trying to convince us not to be charitable to those less fortunate, not to be giving to those less fortunate, not to offer what we have, not to welcome in those who are less fortunate. If there's an enemy of Christmas, it's those who are trying to convince us that the vulnerable and the oppressed are our enemy. That they are thieves lying in wait to steal from us that which we have. If there's an enemy of Christmas, it is those who are trying to convince us that this privilege that we live within, this privilege that you and I enjoy, is for us and for us alone. And if anybody else was to receive that privilege, anybody else was to gain that kind of privilege, it would somehow take away from what we have. If there's an enemy of Christmas, if there is something, someone, some force who is trying to destroy the true meaning of Christmas, it would be those who convey a message that says we must keep what we have for ourselves. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that you and I will always understand the true meaning of Christmas, which is love and charity, and mercy, thankfulness. That we will, through this understanding, also come to see those and those messages that are truly damaging to this season, to the spirit that we know to be Christmas. Amen. Nemultus.